But if the person continue to be there in Rajas, then what is the problem? Rajas, it's basically done with two things. One is incentive oriented approach, greed. Lot of greed is there. I will do the work if I give money, if I get money. That is what is very, very important. In Rajas, two things. One is I will do the work if the money is given to me. And next one is basically ahankara, means too much of egoism. So I am doing it, I am doing it, I know everything. Is it good or bad? It's good only, not that it is not good. Continuation of Rajasic personality for a longer time, what is going to happen? It is going to give you a lot of tiredness. You will be tired, ultimately what happens? You have come across a lot of diseases. That is what is going to happen. Okay. So at the very young age, maybe 30 years or 40 years nowadays, people start complaining about heart problem, blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome, all these things. Why? A person who is at a very young age, maybe 30 years, 40 years. So how you should be there? You should be energetic. You should be active. You should be very slim. All these things, all energy conservation should happen. You should move in a proper direction. But still, what is happening now? They are suffering from all these things. Why? Because they are into the too much of rajas. They don't understand, what is the nature. There is one more quality is there, what is called as sattva, which practice will relieve from all these problems. Okay. So that is, they are not there. Then what is to be done now? For such a person, we have to enlighten that person with what is called as sattvic personality. So what is that sattvic personality? Performing an action in a very right direction, right way. That is what is very important. Then unattached to that action, you have to perform. That is what is very important. Niyat, what is that? The formula says to the sattva people, Niyatam, Sangarahitam, Aragadveshata Kritam, Apalaprepsuna Karma, Yatyas Satvika Muchate. That's what Niyatam. In a very ordained and disciplined manner, you should do it. And perform the action in how you have to perform in a very relaxed way, you should perform. That is what, that's what they said, essence of Karma Yoga practice. What is essence of Karma Yoga practice? Karmannevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuh ma te sangostva karmane. Karmannevadikaraste. Each person has got right to perform action. There is no right towards the fruit of action. You cannot expect what is fruit of action. It is not in our hands, because nature plays a very important role between the action and the result. Okay. So God has given us only one choice. That is what is called freedom. What is that? Perform action, but don't worry about the result of the action. That is what he says. That's why niyatam sangarahitam. So don't attach to that action and perform. That's what I told you. Hangman in a jail kill a person, but he is promoted. What is that action he has done? He has killed a person, but he has been promoted. Why he has been promoted? Because he has done that action with a unattachment. If whoever may come there, whoever the court says he has to be hanged, he will hang it. That's all his duty. He performs it as a duty. So then what happens? He gets promoted. But if a other person, done like that, kill somebody, what is going to happen? The court decides and give him a hanging punishment. Niyatam sangarahitam. Ragadveshata kritam. So don't worry about raga, means attachment or hatred. That is why I told you yesterday, any work you are having, be happy with that. That's what is very, very important. Perform action in a very nice and in a relaxed manner, and liking that action, liking that profession, you should do it. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ, ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಸೊ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ಹೌಸ್ ವೈಫ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್, ಆರ್ ಯು ಮೇ ಬಿ like car driver, whatever may be there. You follow any profession. So God has given us profession because of our personality. That's all. If a Rajasic person, he is more into the IT industries or like that. Or suppose Tamasic person, he will go to some other police. But if a Sattvic person, he go for the more of knowledgeable activities. So whatever activities God has given to us, and whatever the nature is there, love that activity, perform that activity with what is called as Ishta. Means liking that action, you do it. Whatever may be there, you may be housewife, you may be farmer, or a driver, or whatever may be, a cleaning person, whatever may be there, you should do it. Okay. Then when you go to the sattva, this is niyatam sangaraitam ragadveshata kritam apalaprepsuna karma. Don't worry about, don't think of the fruit of action at any point of time. That doesn't mean that, Are we not going to get the result of an action? Yes, each action has got a result. Okay, there is no doubt about it. And each action, whatever you do with good intention, you are going to get the desired result what you are interested. That you are going to get it. That is there. That is always there. 99%, whatever you wish will happen. But you should not be aware. You should not depend on the fruit of action and perform action, because the fruit of the action, the duration between the action and the fruit of the action, so much nature plays a very important role. That's what I told you yesterday about the laws of one additional sheet in the examination. So once while transporting, one additional sheet has fallen down. Why it has fallen down, nobody knows. Okay, that is why that person who has to score 90%, he got 88 marks. Why? Because 2 marks paper has been fallen somewhere. Why it has fallen? Nobody. That is the nature plays a very important role. Okay, that is. Don't worry about those things. When you start performing this action, satvika action, then you become a satvika person. But when you start performing satvika action, what happens? You come across lot of conflicts. Conflicts is there. Okay, that's that's what kim karma kimakarmeti kavayaha apitra mohitaha tate karma pravakshami yagnatva mokshase subhat. Page number 79. Okay, he says kim karma kimakarma. See, what is karma? What is akarma? What is vikarma? People are not, even the learned scholars are confused. Learned scholars are, forget about ordinary people. Even the learned scholar, Kavi means is a learned scholar are confused. Tate karma pravakshami. I am going to explain what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma. Understanding that what you are going to become, you relieve from the bondage of this birth and death, and go to a state of what is called as moksha sthiti. Then what happens, when you are performing action in a sattvic way, I'm not talking about tamasic or rajasic, but you are a sattvic person. You start working in a sattva way. Then what happens? There's a lot of conflict comes in the form of ethics over ethics, duty over duty, why ethics, why duty, what is meaning of life. So many problems comes there. At what level? At the level of sattvic level. Sattvic, and above that, you get lot of conflict. That's what I'm telling you. I told you yesterday. What is there? Most of the people are now watching TV and enjoying the beautiful serials. Okay, but what is that we are doing? We are now started learning about this yoga practice. Was it necessary for us? Immediately, thought come to me. Sometimes I also get it. Not only you, I also thought it. Why should I start teaching nowadays instead of I can watch TV, instead of watching you can movie in the TV, whatever is that you can do it. But still, in that level you get that lot of conflict. For example, duty was duty. Normally, a newly married husband is caught up with this type of problem. Duty versus duty. Then what a duty to mother or duty to wife? Problem. Suppose if you support mother, then wife says, no, I come from the other family thinking that you will take care of me, but you are not taking care of me, but you are now only taking care of your mother. So wife complains. Okay. And suppose if you are in the side of the wife, then mother says, no, after marriage, you have changed a lot completely. So he says, mother says, then what is that person has to do it? So what is that, duty or duty? The husband is now caught up between mother and the wife. Now, leaving one per mother is not good. It's not advisable. Or leaving wife who has come, depending on me, she has come to my house. Leaving wife is not advisable. Then what is to be done? That is where, this karma yoga comes into the picture. That is where yoga practice helps. So in such cases, what is to be done now? Send both mother and the wife to the yoga class. Then what happens? So that yoga class changes their personality and they become both friends. So husband, wife and the mother-in-law, they become good friends. So then what happens? This one. Then why ethics? Problem comes in, why I should follow Yama and Niyama? Then why I tell only Satya? Why not I tell for my survival? I will always tell lies. Why I should do it? Question comes. Because most of the time what happens, people who start telling lies, they have survived very nicely and compared to the people who follow Satya activities, they follow, they find lot of problems. Okay. But question comes whether I'm telling lies lead me to a very shortcut method of reaching goal. Is it okay? Problem. And what is to be done now? So I want to follow the path of not telling lies. So then what happens? Then what Shastra says, Satya, whatever may be whatever may be there, you just follow Satya. The truth. Truth has to be followed. Even though it is a very difficult path to proceed, but still it is the ultimate
ಟೀ ಕುಡಿಯೋದಾ?
going to be. Satya. Yama and Niyama you should follow. That is what is there. Okay. Then why
ಟೀ
duty?
ಕುಡಿತೆ ಮಾಡಿ.
Why duty means what? Why you should perform duty? Means, as soon as you get up in the morning, I have to take bath, then I have to do puja, then I have to do meditation, then I have to do yoga practice, then go to the office, mingle with all my family, mingle with the colleagues, then perform activities. All those things you should do it. Then why you should do it? I will not do it. Tomorrow onwards, I'd say, I will not take bath. No, I am not going to do any puja. I just enjoy. But what is there? Why you have been born in this earth? The very purpose of birth in this life itself is that is what is important. Duty has to be performed. Duty has to be performed for purifying my personality. Why I should take bath? Purification. Why I should purification of my physical body. Why I have to do puja? This is mental purification process. Why I have to mingle in society? Social purification process. All actions, these things, the duties prescribed, ordained duty which have been prescribed, are all meant for what is basically purification process. At appropriate, one has to take bath. So not taking bath at any time is not going to solve the problem. So I get up bath at 4 o'clock. No. Morning, you should get up. Sleep. So early to sleep, early to rise. Okay. Mavi Muhurta is 2 hours. Okay. Take bath, get up. Then immediately what is to be done? By doing all other morning activities, now start brushing, take bath. Then after taking bath, so whatever your custom says to do some puja, do puja, meditation practice. Then do some yoga practice, do some meditation practice. All those things should do it. Then what happens? These things give you the proper direction. And how do you know that these things are giving me proper direction? That is where Karma Yoga comes into the picture. They give you direction. So directionless for people who are directionless, direction is given. Then what is meaning of life? Why are born in this earth? The question comes. No, see, the entire creation can exist without me. So nature, creation is not dependent on me, but I am dependent on the nature, the creation. Why? So that is why that's the meaning of the life. I have been born in this earth with a specific purpose, specific direction, specific action. I have been given a responsibility, but unfortunately, I don't know. Okay, that is what is very important. What is the purpose of birth in this earth? Is basically to purify my personality. That is what is very important. Ultimately, to reach the state of moksha. That is what is very important. God has given us. And this type of birth, no other species can have it. Animals also have birth, but they don't have a choice. Whereas human beings have got that beautiful choice called buddhi. Buddhiriteshu adhiko visheshaha. Buddhir vihinaha pashuvis samanaha. They say, ahara nidra bhayamaitunanja samanyametat pashubin narana. Buddhiriteshu adhiko visheshaha. Buddhir vihinaha pashuvis samanaha. Ahara, food. Nidra is sleep. Bhaya means fear. Then procreation are all common to human being and animals. Both are common to both animal and human being. But what is that which distinguishes between the animal and a human being is that extra criteria, discrimination faculty, or the buddhi is the one which is going to discriminate. Use that buddhi very judiciously. That's what Karma Yoga says. Karma Yoga says, use, perform action using your buddhi. That comes next. That's what is there. Okay. That is why these of conflicts comes. When you want to get these type of conflicts, normally, sometimes if you are not aware of this yoga practice, you may be lost. But then what you have to do it, and once you understand this beautiful Karma Yoga, the secrets of Karma Yoga practice, then Karma Yoga itself or Jnana Yoga, whatever may be the yoga practice, you do it, what happens? You get an idea, you get a message that what I am doing is correct. So let me follow, let me continue for further purification process. That's what we have to do. That's why if you got conflicts, when you are in a higher state, yoga purusha, practicing yoga practitioner, or if you are practicing the sattva, then these have to be done. So what is the secret number one? Secret number one says, karmano kyapi bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanascha bodhavyam, ahana karmano gatihi, Karmano helpi bodhyam. What is work you should be told. That is what is work you should be told, Sometimes you feel puzzled. I know it, okay. I know what is work, I know it. Then why I should be told? Because normally we have been lost in, normally what is going to happen? You have been lost at this particular point only. For example, an action may be good for somebody, may not be good for somebody. Then not between the two, which one is correct? That is where it requires karma yoga practice. That is why karma has to be told to them. Okay. Then what is vikarma? Vikarma is vishesha karma on one hand. Vikarma is a prohibited action. What is prohibited action? You should teach them. What are the prohibited action? Normally pickpocketing, then stealing, then hurting somebody, then aspiring for something which is not belong to me, then hurting, always talking, always getting angry on somebody. They're all vikarmas, prohibited action, which you should not do it. If you do it, what is going to happen? You will be punished. That is what is very important. No punishment is there for such action. So you have to be told, educated people have to be educated. Because in paper and all, you may be seeing, this person has committed like this person has killed somebody, this person has a pickpocket. And what are those things? Punishment. But nowhere it is told. By practicing Satya, this person is become good. Not necessary to explain. Not necessary. When you follow the righteous path, when you are following in your real nature, there is no need to boost. But when you do vikarmas, then that comes into the light, and that has to be, you have to undergo punishment. Okay. Then akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmanavatihi. The path of action is very, very intricate. So, following karma yoga to reach ultimate moksha is very simple and easy compared to all other yogas. But understanding the karma yoga practice is a very intricate, it's very, very subtle. This is the first secret. Akarma is, sometimes, akarma, there are so many meanings for akarma. Okay. One meaning of akarma is not performing an action. Okay. So that is not there. Here, we say karma yoga doesn't talk about not performing an action. You have to perform an action because so long we have been propelled with the gunas. We cannot, Nai kashchit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krutta. Karyate hevashaha karmaha sarvaha prakriti gunaihi. So prakriti, because of you have been propelled by this action, that is gunas, you have to perform action. So what is that akarma means? Akarma is what is called as basically the happiness in all of us. That means we have to recognize. Akarma is not just called the silence in us, which is otherwise called as the happiness. That's what we studied in basis of yoga. Where is happiness? Happiness is inside all of me. What is that happiness? That happiness is nothing but the silence. The more and more silence, more and more you go to the state of happiness. What is silence? Silence is making your mind empty. So that is not thinking of anything is silence. Silence, all of understand. When there is a lot of thinking activities, then you are not in silence. What is to be done? One by one, thought have to reduce. That is where yoga practice is required. That is why how to reduce it. Talking is very easy. I can explain together. I can explain, maybe years together I explain about karma yoga practice. No problem. But practicing is what it is. So understanding and keeping quiet is not going to help. The first secret is what is karma, you should understand. What is vikarma, you should understand. Then what is akarma, you should understand. So that is first secret of karma yoga. Once you understand, these things, when you are thorough with all these things, what happens? Your direction in the life changes. That is what is very, very important. Your direction changes. Okay. Then comes next. Then what is very important? Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tektva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastha kuru karmani means perform action in a yoga way. What is that yoga way? Karma yoga way. What is karma yoga way? Perform action in a very relaxed manner. So so first thing is, what is yogastha means what? Perform action in a very relaxed way. Relaxation is a key feature. That is what is very, very important. Okay. Dexterity in action is yoga. What is dexterity action? Relaxation in action, efficiency in outcome. That is what is very important. Okay. So perform all actions. What is that? You have to perform action which have been prescribed by Shastras. Okay, you should take the Shastras support. For example, take for example, pickpocket. Okay, so pickpocket according to us is bad. But according to the wife of that person who is doing pickpocketing, for them it's a good action. Okay, now been caught. For the wife of that pickpocketer, it's a good action. But for us, it is a bad action because I have lost my purse. My family is suffering. Now between the two, for one person that action is good. For another person, this action is bad. Then who should judge it? If you ask pickpocketer, right, she says, no, pickpocketing is a livelihood, so it is very good. But I say I lost my packet because of that I have to suffer. I say it. Okay, then who should tell that which is good or bad? That is why Shastra comes into the picture. Shastra says pickpocketing is a Nishiddha karma. You should not do it. Then you should not do it. That is relaxation in action, performing a right direction. Then what is very important is Sangam Tektva Dhananjaya. Don't attach to the action. Not only the fruit of action. Don't worry about fruit of action. First point is don't worry about the fruit of action. But don't attach to that action and perform. That's what I told you. No, a person who attached to the action, he suffers. If more attachment, more suffering. That's what I told you yesterday. A hangman who hangs a person, who kills a person, is promoted because he is unattached. A person who kills intentionally is attached too much, and what is the punishment? He will be hanged. So the court, the judge pronounces the judgment that he should be hanged. Okay. So the way you perform an action is what is which directs our result. Okay. If you attach too much, then you have to suffer. That's why Sangam Tektva Dhananjaya. Then third one you underline Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva. Whether the result is as per your expectation or it is not as per your expectation, don't worry. Samatvam Yoga Vichyate. So that Samatva is what is maintaining that the equilibrium is what is yoga practice. That is one of the definitions of yoga. Samatvam Yoga Vichyate. Maintain equanimity in terms of the result. It may happen as per your expectation or not as per your expectation, but perform an action without attachment to that action, without attachment to the fruit of action. Then what is very important is we should follow only the righteous and right action. That is what is very important. Drinking is very bad. Why? Who says drinking is very bad? Because smoking is very bad. How do you know the smoking is very bad? On each cigarette they have written smoking is injurious. What more affirmation you require? What more confirmation? What more this one is required for you? Required for anybody. But still we do it. Why? Because nobody is there to enlighten them. So once they enlighten, then what happens? They may change. So once they change, their life also becomes very good. This is the secret number 2. Then what is another secret? Buddhi, third secret. Okay. Buddhi ukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujjasva yoga karma tu kaushalam. Perform all actions use your buddhi. Intelligently perform an action. Intelligent way of action, performing action itself is a yoga practice. Whether ubhe sukruta dushkrute. So understand what is correct, what is wrong. Ubhe sukruta, good thing. Dushkrata is vice and virtue. Okay, like vice and virtue are like. Tasmat yoga yujjasva means tasmat yoga yujjasva means what is that you have to do? Perform all action in a very relaxed way. Use your intelligence way performing an action. Take the support of the buddhi. Don't take the support of mind, because mind may also sometimes deceive. Okay, mind and buddhi almost same, but hairline difference. Okay, hairline difference. Buddhi takes you in a proper direction, correct direction. If you are a slave of buddhi, it will help you to take in a proper direction. If you are a slave of manas, then manas may deceive also. Sometimes they deceive, or sometimes it may take you in the right direction. Okay. Tasmat yogaya yujjasva. So devote yourself to yoga. Means not only yoga means asana practice, pranayama practice. No, that is all practices for Rajayoga practice. But all our activities in day-to-day activity itself is also yoga. That is what is very important. If all the activities we perform from the time you get up in the morning till you sleep in the evening, night, all should be performed in a yoga way. Every action should be in a yoga way. In that, asana practice, pranayama practice, meditation practice, all becomes a part of you to give you, to make you to move in a proper direction. Eating food, you should eat food like a yoga way. To perform activities in a yoga way. Everything, yoga should be a knit it should be knitted into your daily activity. Out of which asana, pranayama, meditation, all those things are part of it. That's also a part of this. So who's saying, only 1 hour of yoga practice I do it. I am not going to practice any other thing. Okay, 23 hours, I will be whatever I want to do it. So only 1 hour I do some asana, pranayama. No. Your transformation will not happen. Maybe physically you may have some good physique, but the purpose of life, why we have been born this earth has been lost. That's why buddhi yukto jahatiha. Or Ube Sukrita Dushkute, Tasmat Yoga Yujasva, Yoga Karma se Kosha. Third secret. Fourth secret is slightly difficult to understand. Karmanya Karmaya Pashet, Akarmani cha Karmaya, Sabuddhiman Manushesho, Sayukta Krishna Karma Krita, Karmanya Karmaya Pashet. One who says action in non-action. Okay. One who says action in non-action. One who says non-action in action, that person is a wise person. Sa yuktaha krishna karma. Then seeing karma in akarma, akarma in karma. Karma is action. Okay. In action, you should see akarma. That is what is very, very important. So what is akarma here? Akarma is basically awareness. So you should now understand that beautiful awareness and keeping your awareness and perform an action. That is what is very important. Always we perform action, but we are not aware of it. Okay, we are not, awareness will not be there. Okay, awareness has got different meanings. One meaning of awareness is consciousness, thinking of consciousness and performing duty, or thinking of God and performing duty. That is what is very, very important. Okay, so that is why you should see the action, non-action in action. That is what is very, very right. Akarma in akarma. Akarma in akarma. That means when you are performing an action, you should recognize that akarma also. But unfortunately, we do karma, action, but we don't recognize it because nobody has to. Example. What is example? Suppose, you may be last, I think 15 days back, that Karaga happened. Karaga in Bangalore happened. Okay. So what Karaga, he practices. Now, when somebody is now announced that this year, this person is going to carry Karaga on his head. Means 1 month, 2 months before only he go to the temple. He start following all austerities, other things. So on the day of Purnima, what happens? He is going to carry that Karaga. And when he is going to carry that Karaga, he will not touch that this one. No, he is having the pot, 3 pots covered with flowers, 3 or 4 pots, I don't know. So he is covering. Then what he does, he comes out of the Dharmaraya temple, then start moving. And when he starts moving, he starts at 12 o'clock, midnight, and he reaches temple only at morning 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Then till such time, he has to just go on going it, okay? Then what is that? He should not, that part should not fall. And he should not touch that part. Without that, he should just, sometimes he'll be walking, sometimes he'll be running. How it is possible? How that person do it? Can we able to carry that part, without doing like that? He maybe have the practice, but he carries, what is very important is he is now performing his duty. Action is doing. But what is very important? Then what is very, very important is basically that awareness will be having. He is not worried about who is there along with him. Thousands of people will be there along with him. Thousands of lakhs of people will be watching him. But he doesn't bother. He doesn't disturb. What is that? It's full of awareness inside and full of the consciousness inside. He's just walking in a very relaxed way, and he does all his activity, come back, and he is applauded. Okay, that is what is that recognition you should do it. Like people who there in Karaga, how they carry it. See, if I see, if I perform action, but I is disturbed by seeing others and all others, suppose somebody is staying there, I am going to see that person, and without recognition of my awareness or consciousness, if I perform it, what is going to happen? That part will fall down. When the part will fall down, maybe people say there are some punishment for that one. Those I don't know. Let us not discuss about that. That is not important. But what is important, how that person carries that Karaga on his head without falling. One is by practice. That is another one thing. Okay. Second thing is with awareness. A lot of awareness. He is not worried about what is happening outside. He is only performing an action with his awareness inside. That is akarma. That is, then another thing is that beautiful relaxation in performing an action, you should recognize. Unfortunately, we don't recognize that relaxation part. We are just attached and start performing action. But that awareness in that one is missing. Then what is very important is in akarma, you should feel that karma. What is that akarma? Akarma is that silence. In that silence, there is a lot of activities happening. That you should recognize. For example, in sleep, what is that? We feel that we are sleeping. So all our activities will not be there. No activities will be there. But there is one activity going on. Who is going to keep us alive? That is the consciousness inside all of us. The consciousness inside all of us is aware, and he is a person who is making all my activities to go. So he's making. That is why I take sleep. I sleep today, and tomorrow morning I'll get up and start activity. Who is that person who is now giving me, who is now looking after me at the night? I'm not doing anything, but still my heart is pumped, my heart is working, breathing is working, and the digestion is happening. So most of the digestion happens at the night itself. Okay, all these activities happen. Who does all these activities? That is there that akarma in the form of silence, akarma in the form of that consciousness, who is working for me, and hence I am going to get up in the morning tomorrow, but without knowing, I don't aware of all those things because I am at sleep. Okay, but if that consciousness inside me is not going to support me, then what happens? I am going to die. Moment that consciousness goes out of the body, and that akarma you should always recognize. And akarma, what is to be done? You should always make that akarma a friend to you. That's what you do. You have seen, that KarmaYoga class. Bandhuratmatmanastasya enatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve pratetatmaiva shatruvata. Make your atma your friend. Recognize that atma, and recognizing that atma perform action. So when you want to perform any action, you may see somebody says, so I have taken that, I have stolen something, and I know that nobody has seen me. Nobody has seen that, okay, but not here. But your consciousness, is seeing you. What you cannot cheat your consciousness. That is what is very important. Anything and everything, whatever you do, throughout 24 hours, every second, one person is witnessing all these things, what you are doing, and laughing also. Sometimes, it is, oh, what this person knowingly is committing mistake, for which he has to pay, he has to repent for it at a later date or later. But that is what, consciousness. Keeping that akarma is that consciousness. Keeping that consciousness in mind, perform an action. And that is what is action. That is what is very, very important. That's what, when you do it, what happens? It becomes a very, very good. So karma, for example, we feel that, it is station, we feel that it is moving. Sometimes, you will be traveling in a train, okay? Sitting at near the window. When the train is moving, you see, what is that you see? The trees are as if it is moving, okay? Are the trees are moving? No, it is not stationary. It's standing somewhere, but it's going to move like that. That is how our activities also will be like that. There is something stationary inside all of us, and activities are going around it. Recognizing that consciousness, recognizing that awareness, recognizing that, what is it called as silence, recognizing that relaxation, then perform action, then it becomes what is called as life becomes very, very important. You perform action keeping backward, that is atma in you. Thinking of atma, thinking of consciousness always, and performing action is a thing, something which changes your personality. Suppose if you don't recognize the consciousness and perform action, then what happens? You will be performing action, but the desired result will not be there. And this is the fourth. This one is there. Then when you start following all these things, your conflicts will be washed off. And what is going to happen? You are going to reach a higher KarmaYoga practitioner. So you start becoming a Jivan Mukta. So even though you are still in the this earth, but still your actions are not going to disturb you like anything. That's what he says. Tektva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashyaha karmanya vipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Tektva karma phala sangam. A person who is a master karma yogi. What are the qualifications of a master karma yogi? Tektva karma phala sangam. One who has unattached with the fruit of action, not abandon the action, out abandon attachment to the fruit of action. Nitya Tuptaha, ever contented. Whatever may be there is contented. Okay. Then Nirashaya, no dependence. He will not depend on anybody. Independently start performing an action. Karmanya Vipravruttoti, even though he is engaged in action, naiva kinchit karoti yasaha. That person, as if he is not doing any action. Even though he is performing an action, it is as good as not performing an action. That is why tektva karma phala sangam. If you karma phala sangha tektva bitto nityatuptaha, ever contented, nirashaya, no support, then even though if he is engaged in activities, he is as good as not doing any activities. Like great sages like Vasishta, Parashara, Jamadagni, they all lived like that. They are performing an action, but they are not disturbed. Janaka Maharaja was a great, great person. He always used to know great Karma Yogi and also Gnana Yogi also. That is what is there. So once what happens, he has organized a very big, that pravachana for people. That was Sabha he has organized. So Japa was going on, he was sitting there and one person is giving lecture. Then suddenly all the rishis and everybody were sitting there and they are also listening to lecture. At that time what happens, a person comes and tells a big fire has come out. Then it is now, fire has taken away, it's all burning, all the huts and all the cloths, everything of the sages and other things is now burning. And slowly it is going to even the palace and he is going to burn all the treasury house in the palace and all the things. One person came and announced. Suddenly what happens? All people got up without leaving that pravachana discourse. They all went towards, ran towards their huts and other things, everything there. But Janaka Maharaja, let Mithila, he said, let Mithila burn, I am not going to worry. I am going to participate only in the discourse. I am not worried. That is the state of Janaka. That is why he is a master Karma Yogi. So Krishna is also a master Karma Yogi. So who is the example? The great master Krishna. He is doing so many things, but he is Karmanya Vipravati Naiva Kinchit Karoti Sa. He is as good as them. So once what happens, in Narmada, Yamuna river, so Krishna, the Gopika Streets, they were liking Krishna very much. So after some time, Krishna went to Dwarka and Gopika Streets have been left there only. So they have been there. But always these Gopika Streets are thinking of Krishna only. So once what happens, the Gopika Streets learned that, Krishna has come to the bank of the other side of the river. Gopika Streets are staying in one side of the river, one bank, other side. So these people, they wanted to go to that, they wanted to go to that side to meet Krishna, but unfortunately the Yamuna river was in full flood. They came to the bank of the river. They don't know how to cross it because no boatman is ready to cross it, because that was the horrible this flood was there. Okay, but suddenly somehow they want to go and see. And what they will do? Yes, they saw that Durvas Muni. Durvas Muni, he was taking food. He was taking something, he was taking food, and he was very. He is a very angry person. Then go and ask for that person. What is that? When he go and ask that person, then what is that Narmada is going to give you the result. What says? If Durvasa is Nityopavasi, then please give the way you tell. So just now he is taking food. How can he become a Nityopavasi? He says, if you got belief, don't tell in front of Yamuna river. So he went to the Yamuna river and told his Gopikas, they told, if Durvasa is Nityopavasi, please give the way. He gave the way. That is the quality of the great people who perform action. Even though they are engaged in action, it is as good as not performing an action at all. Their words becomes, very distant. Then what happens? They all went to that other side by just mere walking. Then they talked to Krishna, enjoyed with Krishna. They were very happy. And the night came. Krishna, is a very shrewd person. These are all ladies. We should have stayed there along with them in the night, and next day morning they should go back, Then, he says, no, I got some work in palace. I'm going back. Very shrewd person. Then, already night has come. And already the river has become once again full, flooding. Then the people, they came to the bank of the river. They don't know what to do. Then, they went back to Krishna and told Krishna, please stay today here. Tomorrow morning you go, you'll also go back. He said, no, I got to work. He's a very shrewd man, okay, very nice but shrewd. So he says, then they ask, what to do now? We cannot stay in the night because we are outside, we are only ladies. What is to be done? And he says, why are you so much afraid? Yeah, go and talk to, go to the Narmada, Yamuna river and say, fold your hands and say, if Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari, then please go away. Now, how Krishna can become a Nitya Brahmachari? He has got lot of, thousands of wives. Okay, 16,000 odd Narakasuras, prisoners were his wife. Now, how can he become a Nitya Brahmachari? But still, the Gopikas please a lot that they got so much confidence in that person, Krishna. They went to the river bank, folded hands and told, if Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari, please give the way. It gave the way. It gave the way. So suddenly it gave the way. That is why these people, even though engaged in activities, worldly activities for the betterment of the people, is as good as not doing anything. Just like that, for example, that Shiva is a destroyer. He destroys the whole. Every second he takes one person dies. Each second, and if the person Shiva is attached with 1% death, then what is going to happen? Entire Shiva's life would have been in a misery. But he's not. He's not unattached. These things are happening. The laya is happening, but he is not unattached with that action. Karmanya naita kinchit karoti saha. Then ultimate merger. What is to be done now? Tasmat, therefore. Wherever Tasma, no? After telling all these things, Krishna tells, Tasmat, therefore. Asaktaha tasmad ataktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha tasmad therefore asaktaha unattached to the action, unattached to the fruit of action, and performing only the prescribed actions, then performing action and duty sense. Karyam karma samachara. Go on performing action, performing action, performing action. Because your entire this one is only to perform action. The life is meant for only to perform action. That is why we have been born. That's what I told you. Without us, that creation can exist. Without creation, I cannot exist. But what is my contribution to creation? Do in a karma yoga way. Perform action in a karma yoga way. He likes it. That is what is very important. Even in one Upanishad, Isha was the Upanishad. Okay. The God says, the shloka, the mantra says, what is that, Isha vasyamidam sarvam yatkinja jagatyam jagat tena tektena punjitaha magrudaha kasya siddhanam. The entire, this one is basically Isha Vasya. This Isha, entire creation is governed by Isha Vasya. Isha is the owner of that creation. Nothing is there that you cannot say this one entity exists without where there is no owner of the God. God is owner for everything. So Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yatkinta Jagatyam. Whatever may there is all under the control of Isha, God. Tena Tektena Punjita. Whatever he has left, you enjoy. Otherwise, you will be called Tena Tektena Punjita Magrudaha Siddhanam. Don't be a thief by taking the wealth of somebody. That means what are all we? We are all taking the wealth. We are all living with the wealth of the God given to us. Normally, what should we call? We should be called thieves only. But that is what is one of the meanings of that Upanishad. Isha was the Upanishad's first shloka. But what he says, he says this. He says, what is the real meaning of the shloka? Mantra is all that have been created in this creation is meant for you to enjoy. So he says, don't think that you are thief. I have created all the things not for me. It is for you to I have created. But use that very judiciously. That word judiciously you should underline it. Okay. He says, use whatever is required for you. Don't use unnecessarily. And then he says, next verse, he says, you live for how many years in this earth? By doing that, thinking that God is the owner of all these things. I should enjoy all these things in a very judicial manner. Then how many years one should live? He says one should live for 100 years. Okay. According to Jyotish Shastra, one should live for 116 years. But according to Upanishad says, each full life means 100 years. Kurvaneveha karmani jiji vishe chatagam samaha. Tena, chatagam samaha. So 100 years one has to. Suppose you do it in a very nice way following Karma Yoga practice. Karma is not going to bind you. That's why Asma asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara. Asakto hacharan karma. A person who is unattached to action, unattached to action and fruit of action, he reaches the ultimate reality. That is Purusha, that is Bhagavanta. He Paramatma is going to go to the state of Paramatma. That is what is reality. That is what is the goal of yoga practice. Then what is going to happen? Now ultimate goal of that yoga practice is explained in next sloka. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi palam tektva manishinah janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gachyante namayam. This birth, no, this is the birth, human birth. You have been subjected to two things. One is birth and death. So no other, except the creations lower than us is subjected to this birth and death. But the creation above us is not subjected to this birth and death. Okay. So they are not been disturbed by the birth. They don't have any birth, they don't have any death. That should be the goal of all of us. You have been born here. What is our goal? Go to the next loka. So Vaikuntha loka is very far away. Okay. But what is my immediate loka? Next loka is Manusha Gandharva loka. If I want to go to Manusha Gandharva loka, then what is that? All that that is where there is no question of birth and death. In Manusha Gandharva loka itself, there is no birth and death. Okay. If you go to Deva Gandharva, there are so many no birth and death. The loka above Manusha Gandharva loka, there is no birth and death. And what is that they get in different lokas? Each loka is you get more and more happiness, and you get whatever you wish will happen. That is what is suppose you say I want some grapes, immediately you get it. You don't even grapes garden is there or not, but you get it. That is the power. You go to the higher loka. Right? What is Janma Bandha Vinirmuktaha? How can you go beyond the bandhana of Janma? How to transcend that bandhana of Janma and reach the ultimate reality, the Paramatma or the Mukti or the Vaikuntha loka or whatever you say? What is that? Karmajam Buddhi Yuktahi. Perform action in a very intelligent way, yoga way, using your intelligence as is the key point. Phalam tektva manishina. So again and again they hammer it. One word. Phalam tektva means don't worry about the fruit of the action. Whether it is happening as per your expectation or not as per your expectation, no problem. Only no fruit of action you should depend. Okay. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. You are going to be relieved from this action of the binding of this janma. Then padam gachyante anamayam. Anamayam padam gachyati means you are going to reach that ultimate reality. That is Paramatma or Mukti Loka. You are being relieved of that. Then that is where the state where you will be, from where there is no question of coming back here. That's what what is that in Kannada we says, Allide nama mane, illige bande sumane. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಇರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವಿರೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದ್ವಿ? Because of our own karmas, because of our own sin. It's all, dance of the divine. See, I never wanted it. Okay. I never wanted to come here. I was happy in there. But God wants, all of us to dance. So when you dance, what happens? It's good. Suppose, you are seeing, one film. In that film, what is that very important? Everybody likes dancing. Nowadays, you may see, even children, they want to dance. Okay. That is why he says, you also dance in this beautiful creation along with me. And each one has to undergo their own character. We are all, actors in this whole creation, and God has given us some action role has given. Enjoy that role very nicely. Accept that role and enjoy it. That's all. That is why. Otherwise, my house is there. Going back to that, my house is what is basically this one is there. Then what happens? Then ultimately, what is going to happen? Even though I have been disturbed by my problems, I am not going to be disturbed. Like suppose if all the rivers go and disturb all the rivers go and join this sea. Is the sea is going to be increased or flooded or like that? The sea will remain the same. Any amount of water goes to the sea. The sea never changes. Sea never falls. It will be in the same light. Okay, that's what he says. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvad tatvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakama kami. So just like rivers enters the sea, and that sea is not disturbed by the entering of the fish. What is going to happen? Imagine now you are having some tank in your house. So it has got 10 buckets of water the 10 buckets of water it can hold. Suppose if you put 11th bucket, what is going to happen? It's going to spill. It cannot hold it. Okay, like that, Is it going to happen like that in the Samudra? No. See, any amount of water from the rivers go to the Samudra. Samudra is not going to be either decrease or increase. No, it will maintain the same thing. Like that, any amount of that kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya enter into us to for a greater karma yoga practitioner. So that is not going to disturb that karma yogi. He's sashantim apnoti. He is not disturbed with the kama, but he always will be in a very state of what is called as shanti state is going to exist. That is what is very, very important. Also, it's in, for example, in the page number 82, you can see that there is a beautiful cone is there. So tamas is a very, very, very tamas is a very narrow one. It is there. Okay. So from tamas, if you go to this, what happens? The region of narrowness slowly decreases, and that freedom start increasing. That is called as freedom of this. Then when you go to sattva, there is a lot of freedom. That is region of freedom. When you go to gunatita state, there is a lot of freedom. Then when they go to that, particularly go to that state, the curve of limitation goes on increasing. So there is what is because coming from that God towards this tamas state unto the human being is what is called as prasava, delivery. The delivery happens. But going back from this state to the God state is pratiprasava. And that is what is yoga practice. What is yoga practice? Going back to that state of ours is basically this one. Now, ultimately, summarizing that karma yoga practice, what is that you have to do? So, next page says unattached action. Perform an action in an unattached way. Then unattached starts when duty sense comes. And you also perform igna way. Okay. So, yesterday we were talking about 5 ignas, where I have forgotten 2 ignas. Okay. And this another 2 ignas are Bhuta igna and Brahma igna. That is what is there. Okay. Deva yagna, Pitru yagna, Atiti yagna, Brahma yagna, and another one is Bhuta yagna. Okay, Bhuta means taking care of our fellow creatures. Suppose you got a dogs, so a dog in your house, you will take care of it. But who is going to take care of the dogs in the states? That is our responsibility. Even if you don't take care of, God take care of those things. That is a different aspect. But a street dog is there, take care of it. You give some food, for that street dog also for survival. God has created it. So you have to take care of it. Then perform action in an igna way. That is Atiti igna or whatever may be, the ignas prescribed us, you should follow it. Then reduce your personal likes and dislikes. I like that person, I don't like this. I like jamun, I don't like jamun, I like samosa. The duality of likes and dislikes, you have to, this is very good. Then objective outlook. That outlook, there should be an objectivity should be there in your outlook. Yeah, I do this. This thing is going to take me to this one. And there is a development of clarity should be there. That clarity, yes, I am doing correctly. I know this, I will do it. Then there is sharpness, that sharpness should be there. No laziness should not be there. Then there is an efficiency in the outcome. It should be efficient. Go on performing action, but you don't have efficient, then what is the use? That is what is there. See what happened, once there was in one company, there was one person who was doing that some activity he was doing, some lathe machine he was performing it. Okay. So he was performing. It is a very strict company. So one person, what happened? He was performing activities, but after some time, what happens? His machine, he was not on. The 8 hours. One should be there in his seat. The worker should be there. So the supervisor came, and he saw that the worker was not there, okay, but machine was running. Okay. Then he went everywhere, and he said, and near the toilet he was sitting, then very nicely he was sitting and to closing his eyes, and normally he was relaxing it. Okay. But he is not near the seat. Then what happened? He called, but the work is going on. The result is there, but he is not. That person is not in the seat. Then he went there and asked, "Why are you sitting there?" No, my work is going on. Then they came back. He also came back. What he did, he has used his intelligence. So if you want to do that production activity has to happen, then what has to happen? That the lathe machine has to run like this. So he has put something like that in the lathe, some machine, something he has innovated and put there. So because of what happens, he need not have to do it hands. So it automatically going. Then that person, he was been introduced to his managing director, and that person was promoted because he was efficient in work with sharpness. That is what is important. Okay. Then service and patriotic should be there. That is what, performing action is okay, but there should be a service attitude you should develop. Service to teachers, service to society, service to parents. Take care of the parents when they are living. When they are not, after death, do their shraddha. That is what service attitude, okay? Then patriotic courage should be there. That is what, all action should be done with patriotism. So I belong to this country, so patriotic courage. Then all is future by the love, sacrifice, and self-restraint. That is pratyahara, means, control over senses. Then emergence of conflicts, dharma sandigdha, doubt arises and analysis begins. That is where the secrets comes into this one. That is what is the secret? Working in awareness, the first secret unraveled. I told you, the being that awareness or consciousness or the relaxation unraveled. Jivan Mukta state means that, person who is still there in the society because he has to undergo his prarabdha karma, but he is not attached to the society. That is Jivan Mukta. Then Siddha Purusha, he becomes a one with a cosmic like Vasishtha and other Janaka and others, he becomes. Then you should have a universal love and brotherhood. Always you should not say selfishness, but you should be always selflessness service. Entire home, entire country is my home. That attitude develop. First you think of your home. Yes, first. But an expansion should happen. First, this is my house. This is my family members. You should not stuck up there. We should expand it. Expand. So my neighbors and others are my family members. My entire society, my entire entire area is my family members. Like that, you should develop the concept of what is called as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Once you develop it, then it becomes, you get beautiful harmony in the society, and you are going to work, and it is going to not only give you satisfaction, but also help you to lead a very happy and comfortable life in this birth. In the next birth, you will be relieved and you will be go to this beautiful mukti from where you have come, where there is no birth, no misery, no death, nothing is there. Only happiness, only happiness, only happiness. You don't have to worry about food, you don't have to worry about anything. Only thing is happiness, happiness, happiness. That is the life where, and that is what is the goal of all of us. What is our goal of us? Can I be more happy, 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 happy? That is what is very important. Okay. This is in nutshell about Karma Yoga practice. You go through it, and in case you have any problem, you can ask the next class. And today we have been assigned with one more class is unity in diversity. Okay. That is what is very, very important. Okay. That is another chapter, very important chapter. There is unity and diversity. So there is diversity. All our activities are diverse, but there is a unity in all these things. Okay. So first, let me give an example in the analogy of our own society. For example, understand there is in India there are different cultures are there. Okay, and page number you can go to what is called as page number 83. Okay, so in India there are a lot of cultures are there. Each state has got its own speciality. Food is different. In Karnataka, we like Mysore Pak. Sweet, different types. In Tamil Nadu, it is Pongal. In Maharashtra, it is this one. What is it now? Shikanda. The food habits are different. The culture is different. I follow certain culture. Other person follows certain culture. In other state, there is another culture. Then the dress code is different. The persons, people like Karnataka, they wear certain type of dress. In Kerala, they wear certain type of dress. Tamil Nadu, they wear certain type of dress. And their culture is different. Their color is different. Even the color also is different in different states. But there is, even though there is diverse in all the activities, but there is one thing it is unifying all of us is what is called as Bharatiya. That is Indian. I am an Indian. Go there, your Karnataka, Maharashtra, whatever is there, but underlying principle, that is what is basically, we are all basically Indian. And that is why, you all know what is that is basically, that is why, this same type of unity and diversity is taken here into what is called as yoga practice and Sanatana Dharma. That is what is very, very important. So what is, there are so many yogic texts are there, so many yogic practices are there, so many things are there, Kundalini Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, and heart yoga, dog yoga, so many things are there, sir. Nowadays, people, they invent something and they say this is yoga. They call it as this is yoga only. When you go there, what is going to happen? There is a lot of confusion starts happening. So which one is correct? Whether I am following this karma, this Ashtanga yoga is correct, or I should follow only Hatha yoga practice. or I should do vinyasa yoga practice. But what is very important is what is going to happen. Even though there may be so many yoga practices, but the underlying principle is one and the same. What is the underlying principle? All these paths lead independently to the same goal. That is what is very, very important. And there is the same structural transformation takes place in the mind. You go to any yoga practice, okay? The same thing happens in the mind, okay? Same structure transformation happens. And all the streams leads to the same goal. And what is that, So Swami Vivekananda was, so Swami Vivekananda has told that it is not that you build skyscrapers or you build a developed, you build a developed sophisticated technology. It is not adequate only if you are wealthy and you are only affluent nation. If you are having very much wealth, you are very affluent. You have got what name, whatever is there, you got it. For example, America was born. Why America was born? Because the slaves who were there in the other countries, they saw how their masters enjoy, and they want to enjoy. That is why when they found that America, they had that vision that they should enjoy like their masters, because they were slaves. They were asked to work for 20 hours a day, so they don't want to do it. They want to enjoy like their masters. That is why this one. But once the America was created, now there is not there. Everything is there. Affluence is there, wealth is there. Even worker comes in a car and goes in car. Whatever is there is there. But unfortunately, they are not happy. That's one question. One big question comes: are they happy? They are not happy. Why? That's what Swami Vivekananda says. Having affluence or wealth or sophisticated technologies or building skyscrapers is not going to help you. What is you have to establish our basic values. What is that basic value? You have to establish basic values. The character has to be formed. The culture and that is what is basically that is which is important, and that is what India is made up of. Okay, and this Indian culture present a very highly developed culture with what is called as Sanatana Dharma. With this, what is very important is there is a unity, there is a diversity in all our culture, but there is a unity in there, and it is diversity in all yoga practice. It is there in the education. For example, you must suppose imagine a foreigner comes and sees what is very important. He sees that he goes to that entire India. He is confused. Mostly, the foreigner who comes to India is mostly confused. Why? Because there is no one for there is no, for example, there is for Christian there is only one Bible is there. For Quran for the Muslims will be there. But he sees, is only one thing is there for these people. But for our Indian culture, Sanatana Dharma, there is, the lot of people worship their own choice. There is nothing that I worship somebody. That doesn't mean that you also worship somebody is not there. Some people start worshipping Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu, Hanuman. So whatever they. Then they, what is very important is basically they all worship. Then foreigners get confusion. How it is possible? So one person worship Rama, another person worship Krishna, and the freedom is given to all them. It is like giving freedom to all things. That is what is very important. Then why there is so many different paths, so many worships are there? Because there is a one underlying principle is there in all of them. That is what is called as, that is what is that single culture which is upholding all these things is basically, that is spirituality. Spirituality is the concept what is called as Sanatana Dharma. It is also called as Sanatana Dharma or spirituality. So binds all this Indian culture to spirituality. What is the spirituality? That spirituality we call as God, or you call it as a reality or a consciousness, whatever it may be there. It is not, be careful, it is not conscious, it is consciousness. That is what consciousness you are aware of. I am conscious of what I am doing. Consciousness is one which guides me. That is what is the difference. So don't be confused with conscious and consciousness. Consciousness means Paramatma. Okay, conscious is I am aware of it. This is one general word. So Paramatma is the one who creates all this creation, and what is there in me is Jivatma. A small part of Paramatma comes into me along with my karma, and he is going to attach here, and that is Jivatma. That is Jivatma happens. Okay, reality is causes. So that is what is yoga and spiritual lore forms the basic index of our Sanatana Dharma and brings a unity among all these diversities and thus form the foundation of Indian culture. Yoga and spiritual. That is why people should start practicing yoga, because there is an underlying principle. Whether it is there are so many yogas were earlier there. Kundalini yoga, Patanjali yoga, and heart yoga, and so many vinyas yoga all there. So what Swami Vivekananda did, he merged all those yogas. Okay, so because people will be confused, then he called into 4 yogas. What are the 4 yogas? It's Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, then Gnana Yoga. Like that, he called in, image. So all these 4 yogas, what is very important is their paths are different. Okay, but their methodology is different. But the ultimate goal is basically reach the state of moksha. That is what is moksha is what is that unity among all these things, that is reach of moksha. What is that moksha? Featured by freedom, bliss, then power and happiness. Okay, freedom, bliss, power, and another one more. Okay, that is what is freedom. Freedom, bliss, power. Okay, one more is there, I will tell you. So that is what is very important. There is unity among all these things. But follow anything. You want to follow Gnana Yoga, same unity. If you follow Bhakti Yoga, same goal. If you do all these things, same thing. But what is the goal? Goal is basically to reach the state of moksha, featured by freedom, bliss, happiness, power. Okay, that is bliss and happiness on the same. Okay, that is what is very, very important. What is that basic structure underlying all these things? That is Paramatma. That is what is the underlying principle of this all yoga is understanding that consciousness, unraveling that beautiful consciousness. That is what is it. You follow Bhakti Yoga practice, you follow Gnana Yoga. All yoga have got one reality at the base of that, and that is what is single entity called as the God, Paramatma, or the reality. It is just like that, gold bangles or gold ornaments are made up of gold. Gold is a fundamental thing, okay? Like a mud pots and all, you do it. Mud is a primary thing. Like that, gold, just like the gold and just like the mud, there is one principle which is there in all of us, which is holding that Sanatana Dharma, which is holding all yoga practice or spiritual, or is basically that Paramatma, the concept of Paramatma. First thing you should have it, okay? What is very important, if you don't have that belief, then it is very difficult to appreciate it, okay? That's what, in Gnana Yoga says, Shraddhavan labate gnanam tatparas sanyatendriyaha gnanam labdha param shantim achirenadi gacchati. That is what is very, very important. What is very important is 3 things. One is Sanatana Dharma. See, that Sanatana Dharma is the one which is holding all of us into this beautiful, this one. That is why Indian culture, even though our Indian culture is been bombarded with so many other people, okay, so many people, happened. You may see from Britishers to so many people have attacked India, but still the core of Indian culture still is flourishing. Why it is flourishing? Because of this concept. That is, one thing is the core behind all the things is basically the one who is going to take care of this Paramatma. Another thing is, all the goals, all that leads to same goal, that is moksha. Maybe the methodology is different. Why the methodology is different? Because, we have been all formed, we have been triggered by what is called as our own personality. Some people may be tamasic, some people may be rajasic, some people may be sattvic. So, same yoga practice or same, this one, cannot be given to all the people. You should customize your customize your practice according to the nature of the person. That is why so many yoga practice. Okay, in other sector there is only one thing. So you follow Bible enough. But here it is, like Bible, it's like in India, Bhagavad Gita is there. So many other books, Ramayana is there, Mahabharata is there. All the things. What is all the things gives you that purification process. Entirely, that is the paths are different, the methodologies are different, but ultimate goal is one and the same. And ultimate, the structure behind all the things is one and the same. For example, Gnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gnana Yoga, there are 4 yogas. Okay? These 4 yogas means, what is the ultimate goal of yoga practice? All these 4 yoga practice to reach the state of goal. What is that goal of yoga practice? To reach the state of moksha, featured by consciousness, featured by freedom, power, bliss, more and more happiness. more and more freedom, more and more power. That is what is the goal of all these yoga practice. Whether you practice Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all those things. But what is the underlying behind all these things? There is one thing that is there in all these yoga practices, that beautiful consciousness. That is what is, whether you are there, I am practicing Jnana Yogi, somebody is practicing a Bhakti Yoga, somebody Raja Yoga. What is that underlying principle? That is the principle, what is called as that consciousness, which is propelling me to perform all. Same consciousness. Whether it's a good person or a bad person, consciousness inside in me is the one and the same. And what is that goal? Is the same. The same goal it teach. But what is that difference? Paths are different and methodology is different. Okay. Methodologies are different. What is that methodology? That methodology is Karma Yoga. He takes into the three, all methodologies are three steps. What are the three steps? Karma Yoga, recognizing tamas, rajas, sattva and going beyond. Bhakti Yoga, kama, prema, bhakti. Raja Yoga, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Then what is other yoga? Gnana Yoga. Gnana Yoga, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The methodology, threefold path, threefold methodology. Paths are different. The methodology is different, but ultimate goal is basically one and the same. That is, goal of yoga practice is moksha. And underlying principle with all these things, which is holding all the things, is basically that consciousness, the Paramatma, or the God, whatever it is. But it is very difficult to understand, For a common man, it is very difficult to understand. But they can understand. For example, each and everything in the whole creation is made up of energy. That is, scientists, they say, a pen or pencil is a quantum, the energy packed in it becomes this form. So all are, variation of energy. For example, in a quantum physics also there's the energy in all those things, okay? So energy is the main principle supporting all these things in any form. Like that, yoga and spiritual says everything is nothing but consciousness. What is that say, Just like that, energy at the physical, at the scientific level is the fundamental thing for all the things. Suppose you want to make a pen, energy is required. Then you almost some certain amount of energy. Like that, according to yoga and spiritual law, there is something, but consciousness is basically under the creation, under the thing what is very important. Consciousness, and it is from that consciousness the whole creation comes up. The diverse, mystic, sophisticated universe has come out of this consciousness. To see this consciousness as the underlying reality is what is very important. That is what is very important. Why there are so many practices? Because to fulfill the nature of a person. If it's a tamasic person, the practices are given separately. If it's a rajasic person, practices are separate. For a sattvic person, practices are separate. So once what happened, a person was not knowing anything, was a very dull person and all, he went to Swami Vivekananda. So he told Swami Vivekananda, please teach me Bhagavad Gita. Then immediately he saw that person. He analyzed that person. The person is basically more of tamasic, slight of rajasic person. Okay? He was slight of rajasic, but tamasic person was there. He knows how to identify. By seeing a person, you can able to identify the personality of the person. Okay. Then what happens? He immediately told, throw away Bhagavad Gita. Swami Vivekananda telling, throw away Bhagavad Gita. Go and play football, he says. Why? Because that person doesn't read it, Bhagavad Gita at this juncture. He has to be transferred to Rajas. He has to be, then using Bhagavad Gita, he has to be transferred to Sattva. That is why he says, now it is not required. Throw away Bhagavad Gita. Go and practice football, he says. That is what, that is why even though consciousness is same in all the things, you are being disturbed by this thing, and that is what is basically this one is there. Okay. What is very important is the civilization and culture we should do it. What is meant by civilization? Civilization is what we have. What are the things we have in our this one? That determines civilization. And what we are is basically the culture. What I am I a good person or a bad person? Society of having only sattvic people is a culture. That culture we should follow it. Good culture creates a good society. Bad culture creates a bad society. That is what you should follow and develop the society where these qualities are this one is there. Okay. And what is the goal of life according to Sanatana Dharma is yoga and eternal values and eternalness of cosmos is yoga and spirituality form the basis of Sanatana Dharma. That is what is very, very important. What is very important is Sanatana Dharma is binded by yoga and spirituality. What is that yoga and spirituality says? The entire creation has come out of one thing, that is consciousness. So that is whole of the creation has come from what is called as this consciousness. And what is this? Each person in the whole creation has got a specific role. We are born in this earth with a specific purpose, specific role, specific activity, and specific. There is some pattern is there in the society, so in the creation. Not that the creation has happened just like that. No, there is a pattern in the creation. There is a pattern in our activities. There is a pattern in my birth. All the things is pattern is there. But what is very important is there are three people who are now supreme. There is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. What are the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara? Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, and Maheshwara is the destroyer. So that is how the whole creation maintains the balance. Suppose only creation is there, destruction is not there, there is a lopsided happens, imbalance happens. Suppose only destruction, no creation, no happens. Only if a person is created and is destroyed, the moment he born, he dies, then no problem, no use. Then he has to be sustained. And these three entities take care of those things, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And this Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, beyond that, there is one person who takes care of all the things, who is considered as one thing, is basically a beautiful Paramatma. Paramatma is the one who takes care of all the things. That is an eternal principle one as well. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they are very. Brahma is the next to Paramatma is Lakshmi. After Lakshmi is Brahma. Brahma after this one, like that hierarchy is there. Just like that, everywhere there is a hierarchy. Okay. So what is very important is the Trinity. Beyond the Trinity, there is at the base of all these Trinities, all the base of all people, there is one Brahman, that is the consciousness is there, and which is beyond Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. That ultimate reality is underchanging the sorry. That is what that is the growth happens. That is what is beautifully given in this page. In page number 87, they gave. We started our journey with animal level. Then we became a normal human being. Then we become a great human being. Then divinity. Then ultimately in the process we reach the perfection. And that is what is basically that yoga practice. You go from the state of animal nature to the state of divinity is what is yoga. That is what is the definition of yoga practice. No, if you are a human being but with animal character, that is kama, krodha, lobha, moha there. Maybe you may be a human being, but still you are subjected to with animal human being. Then you should, when you remove that kama, krodha, lobha, moha, moda, masera, then you become a normal human being. Then you remove that ahankara in you which is there, that I doing it, then you become a greater human being. Then even that you say, everything exists. I surrender myself to the beautiful divinity. I dance according to the tune of the divine. Then you became what is called divinity, divinized person. And you reach the state of perfection, that is perfect man. That is the process happens when you start practicing what is called as the yoga practice. Yoga or spiritual or makes you, it tries to help you to go to the state of perfection, consciousness. What is that consciousness? That consciousness is the one which is full of perfect. There is no defect. That is why who is that perfect, who is that person who is not having any defect. That is where which is called as the perfect man, that is consciousness. He doesn't have any defect, no defect in me. But I am born with the amount of defect starts coming to me, then that is how the lower side of that this one happens. I go to the animal level, it's my more of defect. So if I start removing the defect and go to a person who is not have defect, that is nothing but perfection, that is consciousness. That is why call it we have all the diversities and varieties, but at the base that you have the unifying thread is consciousness. That is what is very important. Moving towards that reality or pure consciousness is the goal of life. Moving towards that person who is perfect. And perfection, always you like, somebody is good. Are you not interested to go to that state? That is where the good person or the perfect person is the one which doesn't have any defect, is the consciousness. So moving towards that is what is basically, this one is very important, okay? So we are not born with an accident. Our life is not just an accident. It's a great desire. And there is a purpose in our life. It is there inbuilt in all of us, okay? And direction, what is the direction of life? Getting more and more happiness, avoid misery. Therefore, the direction is to move towards ultimate pure consciousness, what is very important. So what is very important is the key factor in this one is basically samatvam yoga uchyate. That's why each one of us should have what is called as basically that prescribed qualities you should develop it. That is what is very important. Okay, you should have that prescribed quality to become a yoga practitioner. What is that prescribed quality to become a yoga practitioner? Practice that yama niyama. Then only you are fit enough to practice asana, pranayama, and following the values in life. Then removing arishad vargas. So all those things is what is very important. The basic criteria is what is very important. Okay, the key qualities of is samatva. That is samatvam yoga uchyate. That is what is given in page 87 end. Okay, it is the release of from the bondage of emotional level, mental level, intellectual level, physical level. Gradually, we should move overcome the bondages. Okay, that is what is very important. Free from we free from all these things. That is what is very important. This is common in all. Okay, why there are suppose these. What is that when you start practicing this yoga and spiritual lore, then thinking of consciousness, what is going to happen? You are going to be burn off all your agami karma, sanchita karma, and prarabdha karma. I forgot to tell you in karma yoga, there are three types of karmas we all undergo. One is sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and agami karma. Okay, agami karma is the actions which comes in future. Prarabdha karma which happens at this stage. Sanchita karma which has already happened. Okay. For example, once we accumulate certain karmas, then we go and die. Then what happens? We go and die with Sanchita karma. Sanchita karma is there in the person. In the next birth, when I take birth along with that Sanchita karma, and it becomes a Prarabdha karma to undergo in this birth. Then in the next birth is what is called as Agami karma. Okay. So what happens when you start practicing yoga and spiritual lore? What happens? All these prarabdha karma and sanchita karma, they are going to wash off. They are going to puff off, and there is what is called, there is a beautiful inner purification happens. Purification happens at all levels. So you have been blocked with so many problems. Okay, blockages are there in the form of problems. So all those problems are overcome by this beautiful practice of yoga and spiritual law. That is thinking of consciousness and performing all these things. When you start performing, thinking that consciousness is the base of everything, and you start practicing yoga practice, and you start following yama and niyama, then what is going to happen? All our arishad viragas are washed off. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all those things, what happens? It is going to be washed off and you become a very beautiful person with a beautiful purity. That's what he says. Anudinam tanatvam myati arishadvargaha. When you start practicing yoga in a real yoga way, that's what I'm telling you, real yoga way you should practice. That is yamani, following yamani yama, then following values in life, performing good action, always having that live in reality. That is what is very important. So all these things, what is going to happen? So this is going to reduce, thin down all our vasanas, thin down all our arishadvargas. Okay. As when you continue to practice after leaving all these arishadvargas, then what happens? We grow to a higher and higher level of sadhana. And this is what is going to happen. There is a beautiful transformation that happens in all the things. Okay. Same thing is there in all Vijnana, this Panchakosha Vivek also. They are all made up of 5 koshas. What are the 5 koshas? Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. So one kosha we all know, that is annamaya kosha. But out there is another 4 more koshas are there which is subtle in nature, which cannot be doing. Vijnanamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. Under this principle, there is one more kosha, one more entity which governs all these things, is that underlying consciousness or Paramatma. These things, he is going to guide all the 5, this one, what is that? 5 koshas. And what is that happens by sadhana? These koshas will be purified. That is what is very, very important. There is a purity what happens by performing all our karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, gnana yoga. All these yogas, basically what happens? Purification process happens. Purification happens. Purity at karma level, physical level, purification at mental level, purification at product level. Purification happens at all levels, and all the problems in all the koshas will be washed off. And that is what is very, very important. Then, all that countries, they follow certain type of system for their development. But according to Swami Vivekananda says, the ultimate goal of yoga and spiritual lore is basically to follow what is called as Vedantic holistic system one has to follow. That is what is very important, and that is what is the nutshell of Indian culture. What is the core of that Vedantic holistic system? It is followed by four parts. What is four parts? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is what is very, very important. Dharma means do all your activities in a dharmic way. Then Artha means earn money in a right royal way. Then Kama means have desire what is necessary to lead a happy and healthy life and to relieve all my impurities. Then ultimately should reach the state of moksha. For example, the Greek Empire was formed with only Artha and Kama. They were not worried about Dharma and Moksha. They are, they only gave importance for what is called as Artha and Kama. That is what happens. Artha means money. Kama is desire. Okay? And because of what happens, it collapsed. But only name is there. But the society has just collapsed. Okay? But whereas, even though in spite of long onslaughts on Indian culture, we still survive is only because of these four entities: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is what is called as the Vedantic holistic system. That is what is very important. Should always have a boundary. What is that boundary? One side is Dharma, other side is Moksha. So what is there should be in between Kama and Artha and Kama. So earn money in a dharmic way, earn money in a very nice way. What is necessary? Then have desire in a dharmic way. And what desire in a very nice way. Only Arishadurga also leave it, purification also. And these dharma, these artha and kama, which we performed in a dharmic way, has to help you to reach state of moksha. That is what you should have a direction in you. You should have a specific goal in it. What is the specific goal? That is dharma, artha, kama. These artha and kama, followed in a dharmic way, should ultimately help you to reach the state of moksha. That is what is very, very important. Okay, that is what is moksha. That is what is explained in your page number 89. Okay, you can go through it. So well-being, artha and kama. So all four you should follow it. So artha and kama should be kept in the middle. So moksha should be the ultimate goal. Then dharma should be at this one. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So all the goal of yoga practice, basically an 89 page you go with it, whether it is the Raj Yoga practice, or a Bhakti Yoga practice, the Gnana Yoga practice, or Karma Yoga practice. There is one goal in all of that practice is moksha, that ultimate reality, which is teached by power, bliss, happiness, power, bliss, freedom. Okay. And that is what is the goal of that. That underlying principle which hold all these four yogas is one and the same, that is consciousness. That is Paramatma. And you may be a Gnana Yogi or Raja Yogi or Bhakti Yogi. That underlying principle of all yogis is one and the same. And that is what is very, very important. And that's what I told you. Different types of practices are given because of the nature of the person. So I can need only more of meditation practice if I am a more of sattvic person. If I am a rajasic person, I need a more of asana practice I require. If you are in the rajasic, at the end of the rajasic state, you may need more of pranayama practice. Or sometimes you need one of physical practice. So you have to do some physical exercises, you have to practice it because you are still in a tamasic state. That is why that our Indian spiritual, the Anatha Dharma has given us a deviant freedom. So it is not something like that, cut the head, to suit your cap. No, we are not like that. We create cap. We create cap to suit the convenience of everybody. No, if it's a big or a small, whatever be there. Like that, so many things have been given. Is basically what is called as our own distinction. And each one of us help us to go beyond all of them. For example, Raja Yoga helps us. Or Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. We all talk, give to all these things. What is very important is basically help you to purify your personality, like Yama and Niyama is going to happen. Okay? Sattva has been the main criteria. The goal of everything is basically to reach state of goal through the sattvic way, sattva way, removing the tamasic, removing rajasic, and that is what is very, very important. And that is what is that unity and diversity says? There may be a diverse yoga paths or diverse Indian culture, but there is one entity. What is that unity? Unity which binds all these yoga practices, that moksha. That unity that binds all the culture in India is basically that India. India is the unity, that culture. All of us say I'm an Indian. My culture is different. My shape is different. My color is different. But still I say I'm an Indian. Okay. For example, in cricket match, what happens? So cricket, Lot of all people are there from different states are there. Okay, everybody is there. So once we win, once that that we get that this one, we win the we win the match. What is going to happen? We all enjoy, irrespective of any state, caste, creed. We says India has won. But where are those people are there comes to different states, different caliber, different level. But still all of us enjoy, saying that I know suppose if World Cup we win. Okay. What is going to happen? Everybody in the whole country celebrates. That is that is the goal of that is what is the binding principle that is like that unifying all of us is basically innate that patriotism, that is innate that Indianization what is there in all of us. Like that in yoga practice, there is one common entity which all these things is basically that moksha. Moksha in the form of happiness, bliss, freedom, power. And what is very important is all these things is underlying there is one principle. That principle is basically that consciousness. The consciousness is the one which is there and which is propelling to perform all that. Whether you become a whether you are a Raj Yoga practitioner, Karma Yoga practitioner, whatever may be the practitioner, the ultimate reality that is there in all of us is one and the same. And the goal of all of the thing is moksha is one and the same. But whereas there is one difference is basically in the past, diversification in the past, diversification in the methodology to suit the convenience of the people. Methodologies are different to suit the convenience of the people. Okay, that is what is very important. It's a unity in diversity. Unity is there in the form of moksha. Unity is there in the form of underlying principle that is consciousness or Paramatma or God. And there is paths are different, like Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Culture is different. Culture means culture of the state is different. Maybe we follow different cultures, but there is an underlying principle which is holding us. This is basically India. And the underlying principle which is making us to do all the things that is pure consciousness. So going back to that pure consciousness, what is the goal of yoga practice? Thinking and understanding that consciousness is what is very, very important. That is why we say it is a university in diversity. And all our activities should be respected to the fourfold consciousness, that is karma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, all your action should be in a karmic dharma way, all your earning should be in a dharma way, all your desire should be in a dharma way, all you have to do is in a dharma way. But ultimately you should reach the state of moksha, where you have been elevated to you to go to that higher state where there is no question of bondage in the form of birth and death. That's what in Bhajago Innam Shankaracharya says. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Okay, iha samsare bahudustare krupaya paye murare. Like so always going coming to this birth and death, again come to birth, again come to death is something now looks good. But is it necessary when there is something which is beyond all these things? Okay. See, imagine, suppose you are all yoga students, you have learned all these things. So one day when you become old, you are going to die. So you are going to have a next birth. Then what you have to, again you have to listen to these lectures. Is it necessary? Listen to me. So once again, I have to come to you and you will be listening lecture. Is it necessary? That is why, it's something like prarabdha karma. Okay. Giving lecture to you is my prarabdha karma. Listening to my lecture is your prarabdha karma, where there is no escape. You cannot escape, now. Whereas future action, after 9:30, if I say, I will going to take class, are you going to attend? You say, no, we will not attend. Okay. You say, you have got freedom. Whereas prarabdha karma, you don't have freedom. Whereas sanchita karma, already from 7:30 to 9, whatever might have happened, if you feel regret that I have attended this class, you don't have any option. Already done it. You don't have any option to do it. You have to undergo it. Only one option given to all this, basically agami karma. Use that agami karma in a very judicious way. Use it in a karma yoga way, and lead that life in a happiness, so that this life be our end life with purification process. So let us all go to that next higher state where there is a happiness coupled with what is called as more and more happiness is not coupled with birth and death. So this is basically in a nutshell. I have talked to you only in nutshell. I think you can go through it once again, read it. You'll understand it very nicely. Okay. Then if you don't understand, any next time if you got a chance to meet, then we can discuss. Okay. So thanks to all of you. Have a patient listening. from 7:30 to 9:10, 9:11 happened. So good. So thank you very much. Thanks to Sudarshan also.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there any doubts? Please.
Any doubt is there, you can ask, Maybe all of them are learned scholars, so they don't require any, they don't have any, this one, doubts they will be having. Good. Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Ah.
Uh, we have Sanatana Dharma.
Hmm.
So some people say Jaina Dharma is the oldest Dharma, and they're telling that is there any relation between Hindu the mythology to Jain mythology?
No, no. See, what is very important? That's what I told you, no? Our this one is basically a culture. God has given us a freedom. Okay. So Jain means, they follow certain things. They don't believe in Vedas and Upanishads. Okay. So they say they have got certain, this one is that they don't believe in Vedas and Upanishads. Buddha also, they don't believe in Vedas, Upanishads. They say everything has come from Shunya, zero. So nothing is like Paramatma is there. No Paramatma is there. Okay. All that has come from this. But whatever may be there, the underlying principle of any religion or any sect, whatever it is there, the ultimate underlying principle consciousness is the same. So nobody can delay, nobody can disfurnish, nobody can dispute it. Okay, everybody knows there is something behind all the things which is propelling us to perform all the activities, and that something which is behind all the things is termed as consciousness or Paramatma or this one. That is what is very important. Different. This one is there to suit our convenience. Not nothing wrong. And each section, which help you to each section and underlines what is the underlying principle of each section. Each religion is basically to purify personality. No religion says to impure your personality. Each religion has to purify your personality. That is what is very important.
No, because we say no Rama, Krishna, Hanuman, and all is ultimate God for
Ah,
us we worship.
hmm.
But for them, it is they say they are siddhas. They're
Correct,
only
correct.
siddhas.
No,
But
Rama, Krishna, Avatara, they are all avatars of the ultimate reality. So he took the avatar in Rama, Krishna, this one, and he stayed in the ordinary people and want to remove all the demons and other things. That's why specifically they have come here with a specific purpose. Okay, Rama Avatara was specific purpose to kill Ravana. There is other Matsya Avatara is basically to uphold once again creation to start. Kurma Avatara is basically to uphold that society. All the things is basically he takes the different forms, but ultimately the one which is there underlying principle is the same consciousness. He takes
they say there is a designation
yeah
like a siddha. Siddha
yeah
is there. In
yeah.
siddha also,
Everywhere
like
Siddha
how
is there. So
like how we
hmm.
have so junior officer, senior officer,
Yeah,
assistant officer, like that. In siddha also there's designation. Very
yeah,
high level siddha, low level siddha,
yeah.
and above siddha they say tirthankar is there. Tirthankar is
Correct.
above siddha.
Yes, everything is hierarchy will be there. Even you go to Mukti Loka, suppose if you do too many good things, your happiness is more. Okay, that is in Mukti Loka, that the happiness there is a gradation in happiness happens. Okay, that is what is very important. If you are a good person, more happiness. If you are a little bit less person, less happiness. The people are differentiated in the form of happiness, but ultimately the Loka is the same. Everybody goes to there, but there is also hierarchy. Okay. We call different name. For example, if you go to, what is that? Ultimate moksha is, Patanjali call it as Kaivalya, Buddha call it as Nirvana, then Vedantic philosophy calls it as moksha. Same thing, but ultimate same is one and the same. Okay, going beyond
One
all.
thing is sure, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
one thing is sure.
Hmm.
When Buddha came,
Hmm.
and because of this philosophy and all, the invaders came.
Yeah.
When we would have followed the Krishna's, the philosophy,
Hmm.
uh, we would have restricted the invaders. This is what I was just
No, no.
trying to
What
say.
happened is, Buddha philosophy came. Then what happened? It was a nice philosophy. Right? Philosophy given to everybody is okay. But what happened, everybody started thinking that they are God. Aham Brahmasmi, like that, they started thinking. The society became corrupt, See, if everybody start thinking that I am God, I am God, I am God, And if they're not doing anything, of course, society will be corrupted. Each one is given a specific role to perform in this society. Okay. If they don't do it, society will be corrupted. Okay. When society corrupts, then the result will be very difficult. That is why, in such case, somebody came and told this is not, this is also correct, but better than this, there are so many other things are there. You follow those things. Like that, like so many things happens. Whenever there is an onslaught on our culture, somebody will come and start, giving some new thing, evolve and make the people to follow those things. These are all very serious discussions, which in this level may not be.
Because they started when Ashoka was there, when he became Chakravarti, our entire culture was rich,
Hmm.
and it was very good. And the moment when they followed the Ahimsa Paramo Dharma,
Hmm.
it was an opportunity for the invaders like like Islam, like and
Hmm.
Christianity.
Hmm.
This is what I was just trying to say.
Yeah,
So we
correct.
would have followed the Krishna's mythology.
Hmm.
Would have defended.
Yeah, correct. But unfortunately, happens. Everything is in. There is some set, some things to happen which we don't have any control. It has to happen. So God's will and wish. It's He only wish. He only wish that it should happen like this. Okay. So that is Vidhi. Vidhi Varaha. Nobody can change it. That is what is.
And okay, sir. Any questions? Actually, the what in this subject, what Sir was trying to explain is in this syllabus, unity in diversity means not only in our culture but also in yoga.
Yeah.
So there are so many types of yoga here. The ultimate aim is to reach the moksha, to reach the peace. This is what we are trying to say. That's all.
That's a simple, very simple, very
That's this.
easy to
This is the
understand.
subject. Unity in diversity. Unity and diversity in.
So please go through it when you are at your leisure time. And if you got any doubt, you can always ask me. Thank
ಓಕೆ
you very
ರವಿ
much.
ಅವರೇ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತಾ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೋಶ್ನಿ ಪ್ರಜಾಪತಿ
Yes, sir.
ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಯಾ ನಲ್ಲೂರ್.
No,
No,
sir,
sir.
no doubt,
ಎನಿ
sir.
ಡೌಟ್ಸ್?
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay.
ಪ್ರಿಯಾ ನಲ್ಲೂರ್,
No, sir, no
Good.
doubt.
ನೋ ಡೌಟ್. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
That is one of this.
ಓಕೆ ಪ್ರಣಾಮ್. ಹಾಂ ಸರ್.
Hmm.
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪನೂ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲಲ್ರಿ?
ಹೇಳಿ.
ಹಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ.
No, it's okay. Pranav asked the question. He doesn't know Kannada, Ravi. Manjunath. ಕೆಲವರೆಲ್ಲ
ಕನ್ನಡ
ಹಿಂದಿಯವರು
ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ
ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು.
ಓಕೆ,
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು.
Tell me.
one second. Ask the question, Pranav.
Yeah, see, all the things, everything has come out
Sir,
from,
sir, ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್.
uh,
ಕನ್ನಡದವ್ರು ಇಬ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ,
ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಸುಮ್ನೆ
ಅವ್ರು
ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು.
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಇಸ್ಲಾಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಸರಿ ನಮಾಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಧ್ಯಾ ವಂದನೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
yeah, definitely they sit like Vajrasana, they sit like Padmasana, all those things they follow it. Their practice is also basically to purify that personality. That is what is very important. Whatever is prescribed, whether it's a Christian, Muslim, or whatever is there, basic entity is to purify the personality. But unfortunately, some of the people they don't understand the basic entity and they corrupt it. That's all. That is why these things becomes that. Whatever you follow it, if you follow that, which is going to purify your personality, then ultimately you start nearing to that God consciousness. Then that is the ultimate goal, ultimate reality. That's it. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
So,
sir.
all of
Thank
you,
you, sir. We have
all of you
covered all.
have,
and unity in diversity also. That is among four also there is an ಎರಡು ನಾಲ್ಕು ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Is there any doubts regarding examination? Hello? Roshni? Okay, I'll do one thing. Tomorrow, are you there? Naveen? Idira?
Yes, sir, we are there, sir.
Yes, sir.
ನಾಳೆ ಏನ್
Yes,
ಮಾಡೋಣ,
sir.
ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್, the model question paper, we'll review it. What
Okay.
are all pranas? What are all upapranas? What are all the what is the basic definition of asana according to Patanjali? Everything I'll answer it and tell you how to write it, and then you go through it and for just examination purpose, and you have to read also the entire subject. Then only your knowledge will build up. For examination purpose, I'll tell you what are all the answer to be written. Okay,
Okay.
tomorrow
Okay.
evening, 6:30 or 7 o'clock, we'll log in and tell you. You have to open that question paper, whatever I sent it to you the previous class, and then I'll answer it. Okay.
Okay.
Then maybe some part of the things are changed. Other things will be like, for example, true or false. Satya means ahimsa. True or false? Tell Naveen. Hello.
Sir,
Satya means ahimsa. Is it true or false?
I think it is true.
Huh? Satya is truth, no?
Yes,
Yes.
false, sir.
False, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, like that. And ahimsa means satya.
Okay.
False.
False, sir.
False.
Like that. Uh, I'm just talking about the subject. In Yama Niyama, what are all yamas? You may ask questions. Yamas are the first limb of Ashtanga Yoga. There are 5 yamas. First is Satya, Ahimsa, Satya, Astheya, Aparigraha. Okay. So, and Ishvara Pranidhana. So, all this
Sir,
yamas. Satya,
Ishvara
Ahimsa.
Pranidhana is niyama.
No, niyama. Satya, Ahimsa, Aparigraha, Astheya.
Satya, ahimsa, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha.
Brahmacharya. Last one is Brahmacharya. Okay, so this is yamas. And we may ask you, what can you explain about Brahmacharya? Can you explain about Satya? Can you explain about Ahimsa? Like that, the question may come for 3 marks. Okay, so everything you need to write, be ready to write. This is basic question, no? Basic principles of lifestyle also, and not only in yoga. It's a basic principle of our life. We need to write according to this yogic philosophy. Right? So there are so many things. Tomorrow we'll explain about all this. It's already 9:30. Okay. Huh. No, you go through the question paper. Today you go through the question paper. Tomorrow I'll explain to you how to write all this. Okay. Hello. Slightly we will change the question paper. The pattern is same. Okay, so we'll close the session with 3 Shantis. Gadap Namaskara Mudra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Shiva Arpanamastu. Mastu. Surrogate Mother Earth, Motherland. Thank you. Have a nice sleep.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.